Here is a question that I want you to sit with for a moment. As a leader, right now, are you managing for today or are you managing for tomorrow? Think about it. Most of you answered that very quickly, but I want to push back a little bit. Because here's what I've seen again and again. Most leaders think that they are doing both, but what their teams experience is completely different. They experience a leader who keeps changing the rules without telling anyone why. And that gap between what the leader intends and what the team experiences is costing organizations upwards of $400 billion a year in lost productivity. Oh, that's not a typo. That's Gallup's 2024 number. So today, I want to talk about what I call leading in two zones, in two different time zones. Why it's the central tension of modern leadership and the one habit that separates leaders who navigate it well from those who quietly destroy team morale while believing they are doing a great job. Each one of us, by default, is operating in two different time zones simultaneously. The first time zone is now, hitting this quarter's numbers, keeping the current team engaged, delivering on commitments already made. The second time zone is future, building the capabilities that the team will need, exploring new approaches, tolerating experimentation that doesn't pay off immediately. So researchers call this contextual ambidexterity, the ability to exploit what's working really well today while still exploring enough and identifying what we will need tomorrow. So Gibson and Birkinshaw named it as contextual ambidexterity in their MIT Sloan Review article back in 2004. So it's not a new idea. All of us have been exposed to this. All of us struggle with it. But not because we don't understand it intellectually, but because we don't make it visible to our teams. And that invisibility is where the damage happens. Let me show you exactly how the damage looks like. So there are 4 failure modes that we need to understand. 4 ways in which not being clear about whether we are operating in the current reality or operating for the future reality, the ambiguity shows up in our behaviors and how that impacts the teams that we lead. So failure mode 1 is setting unclear expectations. So Gallup's 2024 engagement survey found that only 46% of employees clearly know what's expected of them at work. 46%, which is less than half. And that's down from 56%, which was already not a good number. A 10-point drop in 4 years. Here's how that ambiguity gets created. A leader rewards someone for grinding out current results. 2 weeks later, the same leader praises someone else for stepping back from delivering to invest in learning and future preparation. Both things are right from a but if the leader never explains why each was rewarded, the team just sees randomness. And people who can't see the pattern stop taking initiative. They wait, they hedge. They play it safe. They don't know what is expected out of them. They don't know what will get rewarded. They don't know what will get incentivized. Clarity of expectations is not just a nice to have. It is the foundation on which all engagement is built, and on engagement is what all high performance is built. Here is failure mode 2. Information hoarding. I'm not talking about deliberate secrecy here. Most leaders aren't hiding things on purpose. What I mean is when we make a decision that's informed by context that our team doesn't know about, doesn't have. It could be market pressure, it could be a strategic conversation with our own leaders, it could be a signal you picked up from a customer. We have connected our dots, our team hasn't. And when they don't understand the why behind the what and the how, trust erodes. And research clearly tells us that when trust is lost, engagement is lost. There is a Deloitte-backed study that found that employees who trust their leaders are 260% more motivated, 50% less likely to be looking for another job. But here is the kicker. Most of us leaders overestimate how much our teams actually trust us by nearly 40%. 40%. We may feel that we've been transparent, but transparency is measured by what the other person receives, not what we intend to send. Failure mode 3. Mixed messaging. This is the most common one and the most damaging one. You say innovation is a priority, and then you pull resources from the one initiative that was actually experimenting. You say people development matters, and then you cancel the learning sessions or reduce the training budgets. That's the first to go every time you're put under pressure. Your team doesn't listen to what you say. They watch where you invest your time, energy, attention, and then do what you actually incentivize, not what you claim to value. And if they can't figure out a pattern in terms of how you incentivize people, they just don't do anything at all. They just wait and watch. This is a well-documented dynamic in leadership coaching and research. Whatever leaders signal through their actions shapes which mode teams operate in: exploitation or exploration, performance now or preparing for future. Teams will default to whichever one they see their leaders actually protect under pressure. Failure mode 4. Modeling helplessness. This one is subtle and deeply human. Sometimes as leaders we are genuinely constrained. Budgets get cut, strategy gets reversed by leaders above us, the roadmap changes, and in those moments there is a slight possibility that we can slip into signaling resignation. There's nothing much that I can do, even unintentionally. When as a leader we start doing that consistently over a period of time, what researchers called learned helplessness, it spreads through the team. People stop bringing ideas. They stop flagging problems early. They assume that initiative doesn't get anywhere because they've watched their leader absorb every constraint without fighting back. Even when we feel genuinely constrained, it is our job to find the agency that is available to us and our team, even if it is small, because how we hold constraints is what our teams will model. Now let's look at a very simple habit that we can actually do to solve this problem. It's not a framework, it's not a quarterly offset exercise, it's a habit. Habits can be learned, and it is embarrassingly simple. Every time we make a decision, name which time zone we are living in, out and loud every single time. If we make a decision that is to improve performance in the current reality, name it that we are doing this for delivering high performance today. If you are doing it to prepare ourselves and our teams for delivering high performance in the future, name it, saying that this is something that we are doing so that we are ready for delivering high performance in the future. This is for today, this is for day after tomorrow. This simple act of naming not very glamorous. It's repetitive, and when done on a consistent basis, gives our teams the clarity that they need in order for them to be able to decide and act, to take initiative, to stay engaged, to trust us, to believe that they have agency. And it's a $400+ billion impact that engaged, active employees can have on the overall business. And it is not a perfect split. You don't have to have 50-50. You don't need to spend 50% of your time in today and 50% of your time in preparing for tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But whatever is being done, whatever balance that we strive to achieve as leaders, it's a judgment call that we need to make. To each our own. And we need to make it quarter by quarter, week by week, day by day, decision by decision. What makes us leaders worth following is how we hold this tension, how we react under pressure. When all said and done, when the push comes to shove, what do we revert to? That tells a lot about what our priorities are and where people will spend most of their times at. So all of this is nice and good. What can we do about it? So here is your one takeaway from this today. This week, in every significant decision or action that you take as a leader, look at it. Ask yourself, is this a today's decision or a day after tomorrow decision? Are we doing this to significantly improve our performance in the short term, which is now, or are we doing this to prepare ourselves to deliver high performance in the future? And then say it loud to the team. Don't assume that they will figure it out from context. Name it. If you do it consistently for 30 days, I promise you, you will notice something shift. Not because your strategy gets better, not because suddenly you are a better leader, but simply because that your team can finally see the map that you are navigating with. And people who can see the map can run alongside you. I'm Mukesh Gupta, and this is Leaders Worth Following, where we go beyond the obvious to explore what leadership actually demands of us. So if today's video was useful, subscribe, like, and share so you don't miss the next one. And if you know a leader who's caught in this tension, send them this video. It might be exactly what they need to hear this week. So until I see you in the next one, here's Mukesh Gupta signing off. Take care and be intentional.